For a long time, the Siversk direction remained virtually static, with no change in the zones of control. From time to time, Russian troops occasionally launched attacks in several areas. However, not all of them were successful, and advances were rarely achieved. The direction was considered as secondary for almost all of 2024. By the beginning of 2024, Russian forces had taken 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐽, but they had not been able to advance further north for a long time. Over the course of 6 months of not very regular attacks, Russian forces managed to advance north of 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚 toward 𝐕𝐚 and begin bypassing 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐿𝐫 from the north. This made it possible to occupy the crest of the heights and subsequently dislodge the enemy from 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐿𝐫. The enemy's defense node was taken, but the offensive was not further developed here. To the east, Russian troops launched an offensive from the direction of Berestov and Smyrna. By September 2024, there were many statements about the capture of 𝐕𝐚, Ivano-Darivka, and a significant advance to Siversk along the railroad. In reality, 𝐕𝐚 was not taken. This was one of the notable events that led to the investigation into false reports. Coupled with botched attacks and personnel losses, a scandal occurred. Prematurely liberated 𝐕𝐚 has not been taken to date. The village of 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐢𝐴, which preceded the passage to Siversk from the east, became another area of attack by the Russian army. The line was well fortified. Repeated attempts to take the village head-on resulted only in casualties and in even more false reports. By the present moment, 𝐔𝐤𝐫𝐚𝐢𝐴 was approached from the south. Russian forces started to bypass it from the north, but right now taking the locality is out of the question. A major stronghold to the east, still defended by the enemy, has become a stumbling block. Every 2 weeks, the Russian assault units' head-on attacks resulted in casualties, but the commanders on the ground did not think about changing tactics and tried to take the impregnable settlement at any cost. Already after the South grouping leadership change, countless inspections and removal of commanders in the field, the situation began to improve. But so far, it has not been possible to liberate this area, which has been repeatedly presented as taken and fully under control. Another hotspot in the Siversk direction is Bilohorivka. It has become a synonym for hell and a place from which no one returns. The ruins of the settlement and the whole adjacent territory is a moonscape and a graveyard of equipment. However, even the large portions of objective control footage did not bother the authors of false reports, and therefore Bilohorivka was declared as liberated several times. Moreover, several fighters were even sent with a flag along the river to the outskirts of Hrihorivka. On October 23rd, the pseudo-reporters had the nerve to report the liberation of Serebryanka. Only recently, Russian troops, after months of heavy fighting, managed to take most of Bilohorivka and raise the flags. Regretfully, the enemy holds positions in the north of the settlement and on the mountain of the chalk quarry. So far, full control is out of the question. The fighting continues, and the enemy has plenty of forces in this direction. But even with all the problems in the Siversk direction, the front here, at the cost of heavy losses, was revived. Slowly but surely, in part thanks to the public outcry and competent reaction of the control bodies, the situation in the Siversk direction began to improve. But there is still a lot of work to be done.